Welcome back to Tiki Taka Talk. And today we have my reaction to what I predicted for every big club in 2025. I will be doing one of these videos in 2026 too, so make sure to look out for that at the start of January. At the start of the year, I predicted what would happen to every big club in the top leagues. What would happen? Where would they finish in the league? Who would they sign? All of that. And today, we're going to be looking back at what I predicted for them, and let's see what actually happened. Starting off with Arsenal. I predicted Arsenal to finish 4th in the Premier League. They finished 2nd, and now they are leading the Premier League. Arsenal's Haram ball is really working right now. I said Aston Villa would be the dark horse of the Champions League, maybe making it to the quarterfinals or semifinals. They made it to the quarterfinals, it's decent. Chelsea, I said, this is by far my best prediction. I said that Chelsea, and you can go and watch the video back, would be Club World Cup champions. And what do you know? Chelsea win the Club World Cup. Absolute insane prediction by me. But that's as good as it's gonna get. I also said they would finish 2nd in the Premier League. They finished 4th, Liverpool, I said that they would win the Premier League and the FA Cup. They won the Premier League. We don't talk about the FA Cup. City, I said that they would finish 5th in the Premier League and fall to the Europa League and be 12th in December. They finished 3rd in the Premier League, and they are not in the Europa League. They're in the Champions League. Manchester United, I thought that they were going to finish 16th in the Premier League, and Amorim would be sacked in December. They finished 15th, and Amorim somehow has still not been sacked. Newcastle, I predicted them to be 3rd in the Premier League. They finished 5th in the Premier League. So, my predictions were pretty close to the end for the Premier League. Nottingham Forest. This was a really good prediction on my part. They were 3rd or 4th. I predicted them to fall down to 7th, and they did. They fell down to 7th in the Premier League. And I also predicted them to be 1st in the Conference League, but they're not in it. I don't think so. Spurs, I thought they would win the FA Cup or Carabao Cup. Turns out it was way better. They won the Europa League. They finally won a trophy. And that's what I predicted, so I'm just going to stay with that. PSG, this was really bad. I said they wouldn't make it past the Champions League playoff round. And they would not be 1st in December. I couldn't be more wrong. They won the Champions League, by the way, which is crazy to think on. And they're also 1st in Liga in December. So, that was a really bad prediction on my part. Bayern, I said that they would win the Bundesliga and make quarterfinals or semifinals in the Champions League. They won the Bundesliga, and they were quarters. They were knocked out by Inter in the quarters of the Champions League. I also said that Thomas Muller leaves in the summer. He left to join Toronto FC. I think that's what it is. But, and also a great prediction. Dortmund, I said that they would get no trophies and finish 5th in the Bundesliga. They were 4th in the Bundesliga. They did not win any trophies. So I was right on that part. Leverkusen, I thought they were going to be 2nd in the Bundesliga and in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. They were knocked out in the round of 16, but they were 2nd in the Bundesliga. So another good prediction. Leipzig, I thought they were going to finish 4th in the Bundesliga and win the DFB Pokal. They finished 7th, and they did not win the DFB Pokal. Frankfurt, 3rd in the Bundesliga and 3rd in Champions League in December. They did finish 3rd in the Bundesliga, but instead of being 3rd in the Champions League, they're 30th. So that's a 0, You add in a 0. Inter, I thought they would finish 2nd in Serie A and win the Champions League. They were 2nd in Serie A and they were runners-up in the Champions League. If they had just won the Champions League, that would have been the best prediction. But it's still the Chelsea one. It's still a really good prediction. Juventus, I thought they would finish third in Serie A and win the cup. They finished fourth and did not win the cup. Atalanta finished first in the Serie A. It's been $75 million on a player in summer. They finished third, and they only spent $25 million. I didn't even have Napoli on here, and they won the league. So let's just give a round of ovation to Napoli for winning the league. Sporting, the first club from not in the top 5 leagues, I thought that they would sign as their new manager Erik ten Hag or Pep Guardiola. They didn't sign anyone. Leverkusen signed Ten Hag and then immediately sacked him. Barcelona, I thought they would finish third in La Liga and signed Erling Haaland. They didn't sign Haaland and they won La Liga. So both of those predictions were incorrect. Madrid, I thought they would win one title, the Spanish Cup, and they would make it to the round of 16. They were quarterfinals in the Champions League. They were second in La Liga, and they lost in the Spanish Cup final. So, it was pretty close there. Atletico Madrid was a different prediction. I'm an Atletico fan a little bit. So I did predict Atletico to win La Liga. They were fourth. So, yeah. But that's it for the predictions. I think I did pretty decent. I'm going to rate myself a 7 out of 10 on these predictions. Hopefully in 2026, I can get some really, really good predictions. Because here, I think everyone had decent predictions. See you next time on Tiki Taka.